Kush's movie review.
This week's movie review is Wolfman, starring Julia Garner, who is getting her quirky credits in before she stars in a Marvel movie and is typecast forever until she dies. Harrison, tell us about the movie.
Trying to figure out which I feel like she might be Dazzler if she was in a Marvel movie.
She's gonna be in Fantastic Four.
Oh, oh, is she Sue Storm?
No, I think she is. Where is it?
Miss Invisible? The Invisible Lady?
Fantastic Four First Steps. Apparently, she is Silver Surfer.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good for her. Okay. Well, as Mike
Shalabow. Shalabow.
indicated at the top of the hour, we're doing Wolf Man. It is rated R. There's some language. There's some gore, but this easily could have also been a PG-13, quite honestly. 1 hour, 43 minutes. So it's directed by Leigh Whannell. If you're trying to remember who that is, he was last responsible for the reboot of The Invisible Man, which, quite frankly, wasn't a bad movie by any means. It was pretty entertaining. It was an interesting twist on the Invisible Man concept. And then the pandemic happened, and I think it got more popularity than it deserved. But it was still an okay movie. Also, he's one half of the team responsible for not only the Saw films, the Saw series, but also the Insidious series. So this guy has been around. He knows horror. He knows a good time. Um, this is also written by Mr. Whannell and his wife, Miss Corbett Tuck. And this is her first writing credit. Otherwise, she's been in a couple Saws and a couple of Insidiouses. And as I said, was married to the director. So take that with a grain of salt. This stars, as you mentioned, Miss Julia Garner. Before, after this movie, she'll be in the Fantastic Four, like you just said. Before this movie, she was in the Netflix TV series Ozark. I believe you might recognize her from the meme. I don't know fuck about shit. She she's very southern in the TV series, and she's very profane. I've not seen it, but I've picked it up through osmosis, just passing by the TV, walking through the living room. Also, Christopher Abbott, who I believe is when he got cast for this, they were looking for a Mark Ruffalo type, and just for whatever reason couldn't afford Mr. Ruffalo or didn't want him specifically. But every time I saw this guy, I was like, why is Mark Ruffalo in this? So since it's the Wolfman, we will be referring to him as Bark Ruffalo from here on out because that's a fun twist on words. I had to explain it to you, so now it's no longer fun. And then a little girl, Matilda Firth. This is not a very complex movie. This is not a very complex cast. This is Bark Ruffalo grew up in the Pacific Northwest, Mike. That's around the Portland, Oregon area. Lots of woods, lots of hunting, and I'm not gonna say he was abused as a child. However, he did have a rough upbringing. So as soon as he could, fled to the city, met up with Miss Julia Garner. They got married. They had little girl. She's a successful writer, or at least busier than he is with his career. So he's most of the time a full-time dad. Finds out that his own father has finally passed away after so many years of not talking and being estranged from one another. And the plan is he has to go back up to the shack in the Pacific Northwest and figure out what to do with all dad's stuff. Dad was a survivalist, so there's lots of hunting growing up, but there's also a bomb shelter, and my guy knows how to make his own beef jerky out of deer and just two-way radios. Like, come in, Mayday, Mayday. This is 019, number 19er, bark, bark. That kind of lifestyle. Very lonely, very cold. You have to live by you. The entire existence depends on a generator. And if that thing runs out of gas, you just freeze to death overnight. It's not that extreme, but still. Um, the existence of something dangerous in the woods that is more dangerous than a bear. No one wants to believe it's a wolf man. They're even willing to lead into its Sasquatch. the big foot as opposed to a wolf man. But anyways, we're going up to Dad's cabin. We're gonna clear out his thing, and we almost drive into the wolf man or a wolf man, and our whole U-Haul goes off a cliff, and from there the survival game starts. Bark Ruffalo doesn't get bitten, but he does get scratched. And as they're seeking shelter, they quickly find Dad's house, thankfully. And while they're hoping for rescue or just hoping for the fucking sun to come up, Dad Bark Ruffalo starts changing. That poison's got into his blood, and this is actually my favorite part of the whole movie is his slow transition from man to wolf man. Um, like I just said, your survival depends on a generator, and that generating and producing much energy, so everything in the house is dim. However, New Wolfman senses is being overwhelmed, so now the room is a lot brighter. Mike Fish, if he's looking you directly in the eyes, your eyes are glowing to him. Your voice, while distorted, might be a little bit louder. At one point, my man just hears this banging on the walls, and he's like, "What the fuck is that?" And he starts exploring. He's looking for the banging, and it's getting louder, and it's getting louder, and it's getting louder. And he opens up a closet door, and Mike, it's just a fucking spider on the wall going bang, 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 bang. It's a cool effect. It was a cool effect. Um, I'm ashamed to say, or why am I ashamed to say anything? I'm sorry to say that's some of the coolest stuff in the movie. The rest of the time, it's just we see this man transitioning into a monster. He doesn't want to, but he's losing control. The family is going crazy, and they have to fend for themselves. And that's just, you can imagine where the rest of the movie goes from there. Again, it's an hour, 40 plus minutes. It's not very long, but it's kind of dull. It's kind of dull. I would like to give this a 4. I got to give this a 3. A couple people walked out during this, and I was very surprised. I was like, "We're going somewhere with this, Phelps. Like, hang out. Why don't you see how it ends?"
Maybe
But
they're
they
afraid
didn't,
of
and that was
spiders.
probably for the best. Maybe, maybe.
And the fact of a spider with sledgehammer for hands scared them.
Not impossible. However, one of those folks who left is a repeat offender that has been brought up a few times in my movie reviews to the point where I saw this dude before the movie started and went, I just changed my seats. It was already reserved seating. I was like, I'm not sitting in the same row as this cunt. I'm going to move up one level where I'll at least have the barricade in front of me, and then I won't have to see his ugly ass or his stupid fucking cell phone. And for whatever reason, I don't know if he'd already seen the movie, but halfway through it, this cunt got up and left. And I was just like, but also for a minute, he was just like standing in front of me. And I was like, hey, asshole. Get the fuck out. Like the screen's still big enough, but it's also just like, you're here, you're not, dude. Get the fuck out. Seriously. So, anyways, enough about that cunt. We've said cunt a lot tonight, Mike Fish. That's exciting.
I know.
But anyways, Wolf Man. I believe this is it's a Blumhouse film, so I'm pretty sure it'll be on Peacock sooner than later. I wouldn't recommend anyone see this in theater, assuming it's still available. I don't think this did very well, but I would recommend if you need to see this, if you want to see this, wait for the stream on your TV set. 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5.
Wolfman! 3 to 5. One question I have is, right? I appreciate
Hmm.
that they did it for an effect where he was like, bang, bang, bang. He found out it was the spider walking on the, like, bang, bang, bang. But that makes me lead to believe, everything else was not making any noise whatsoever. That he heard the spider over. Like, what if a car drove by the house?
That's yeah, that's definitely there was definitely no cars driving by that house.
No, nothing else was making a noise except for the
It's
falling
out
leaves.
in the middle of nowhere, dude. Like they're incredibly isolated. They're literally on the CB radio like, help! Dad's turning into a werewolf. Help! And people are just like, quit fucking around on the radio, Jimmy. Like no, no, they are unable to get a hold of anyway. That's how isolated they are. So there's no cars driving by. If you had asked if a deer started galloping by or trotting by, that wasn't a thing either. Probably because a Wolfman's out there.
Oh, Wolfman.
Yeah,
He didn't hear
he's
the
not the
Wolfman.
only Wolfman.
Oh,
He got infected by another Wolfman.
so Wolfmen.
There is Wolfmen in this movie. Yes,
Maybe that's the
plural.
sequel.
And we'll go back to Wolfman in the sequel. Maybe.
Or Wolfmen's, like aliens,
Hmm.
Wolfmen's.
Wolfmen's. Not
Yeah,
impossible.
there you go. Wolfman. 3 out of 5. Check it out in cinemas if you want, or if you can. If not, check it out on the cock in a
Yeah.
couple of weeks' time.
It'll be on the cock sooner than later. That's what she said.
We're children.
That's all, folks.
Play me off, Johnny.